Yes, good morning dear students. So in previous class you were discussing about the pneumatic system. Okay, so in previous two video lectures you are discussed about the basic structure of the pneumatic system and application, advantages, disadvantages, and how you going to choose the working media for the pneumatic system. And a very important question or topic is that characteristics of the compressed air, and you have studied how you going to generate the different compressors you studied. And at the same time, so next is fluid conditioners and dryers and FRL unit. So in this first topic, so we are only left out with the dryers and the FRL unit. So that these two topics we'll discuss in today's video lecture. So let's move to dryers. So dryers means what? So because you are studied so many components in the pneumatic system like compressors, filters, okay, and similarly a dryer is also a very important component. So what it does, this dryer is, the function of the dryer is to lower the dew point of the compressed air by removing the moisture from it. So for simple application, to remove the excess humidity, we need a simple intercooler, an air receiver, and a filter which condensates or traps. However, to get high quality compressed additional additional means of hydration must be provided using the dryer. So because dryer is used mainly to remove the moisture from the compressed air. Okay, so that is the main function of the dryer. So basically you're going to classify this air dryers into different way. So under that, first one is the refrigeration type dryers, and second is the main is chemical type dryers. Under the chemical type dryers is the absorption type and the adsorption type, and last one is the membrane type dryers. There are mainly three different types of dryers are there. So now we can discuss one by one. So let's move to refrigeration type dryers. So this is the circuit diagram of the refrigeration type dryers. It is basically consist of two heat exchangers. Okay, so first this heat exchanger is the heat exchanger 2 is the air to air heat exchanger, and heat exchanger first it is a air to refrigerant heat exchanger, and there is a refrigerant compressor is there and the separator is there. Okay, so this is the basic components or the circuit diagram of the refrigerated or the refrigeration type dryer. So we'll discuss how it will work. So basically the moisture air, because already you compressed air in compressed using the compressor and it is stored in the container. So before using that compressed air for some application, so you can condition, so you can go pass through the various components to get the required conditioned moisture air. Because once you compress the air, atmospheric air, it is, as you know, that the atmosphere is containing 85% of moisture, so automatically that will moisture will be there in the compressed air. So you have to remove that moisture content from the compressed air. So that's why you can go pass through this compressed air through the dryers. So first you can take out that compressed air from the container to the heat exchanger 1. So in the heat exchanger 1, what will happen? So the refrigerant, it will get compressed, and that refrigerant will pass through the this heat exchanger 1. So here this heat exchanger 1 is the refrigerant and air heat exchanger it is. Okay, here you can going to cool that air that is compressed air to the maximum dew point, that is 0 degree Celsius. Then automatically due to that cooling effect, that air, whatever the moisture content will be there, it will get condensed, and that condensed water or the moisture can be separated in the separator. So next that dry air will go out, and then usually that will go and here. So what happened, it will come to reaches the second heat exchanger. So in the second heat exchanger there is an interaction between the compressed air, because it is a high temperature and it is a low temperature. So here automatically again you can preheated that air and you can use it for the some application, useful application. So this is how this refrigerated type dryers will work. Okay, so next is chemical type dryers. So under the chemical type dryers there are two types. So first one is the absorption type dryers, and the second one is the adsorption type. So in the absorption type, so the simple block diagram of this absorption type dryers. Okay, so because it is when soluble dry air is needed, chemical dryers are used. These dryers are of two types, that is the absorption type and the adsorption type. Under that, first one is the absorption type. So this is the block diagram or the schematic representation of the absorption type dryers. So it consists of this dryer chemical here, that is the chemical bed, and dry air will go out, and this is the inlet for the compressed air you can supply or you can pass through this absorption type dryer, and this is a drain exit wall, and this is a condensed liquid will get condensed at the bottom of this container. Okay, so this is what the basic structure schematic representation. In the absorption type dryers, they basically use the calcium chloride as a chemical agent. The chemical process turns the pellets into the liquid that is drained from the system. The pellets are replaced on a planned maintenance scheme. So here in the whatever I am showing, this is a dryer chemical. Here there is a calcium chloride they may use. Okay, so as this moisture air will pass through this calcium chloride chemical, then automatically that is converted, that will absorb the moisture from this compressed air, and that will convert it into liquid, and that liquid will collected at the bottom of this container, and only fewer dry air compressed air will go out. So this air you can make use for some application. This is how this absorption type dryers will work. Okay, so if you want to look at some its advantages and disadvantages of this absorption type dryers, it is simple in installation, low mechanical wear because there is no moving components in this system, no external energy is required. So if you look at its disadvantages or the drawbacks, the maintenance cost is high, low efficiency, and consumable cost is high. Okay, this is how this absorption type dryers will work. And next is the adsorption type. So it is also in similar way. So it is also consists of heater. There are two heaters. Okay, and there is a dry air pleasure. And the adsorption dryers remove the moisture using beds that made of materials such as activated alumina or silica gel. So in the heater they will use this alumina or the silica gel. This is a mechanical process that removes the capturing of moisture in the pores of the bed material on a planned maintenance scheme. The bed are replaced, refinished, or the reactivated by the application of heat or a dry gas. So this is how this absorption type dryers will work. So next is last one is the membrane type dryers. Okay, membrane type dryers are at another type of dryer to remove the moisture from the compressed air. So it consists of three stages. Stage 1 is contains the filter which removes the water and contaminants down to 5 microns. Okay, in the first stage of this membrane type dryers, it contains a filter. Okay, so which removes the water and the contaminants of size less than 5 microns. And next stage, high efficiency Coliskin filter removes oil and sub-microns particles down to 0.01 microns. In the third stage, membrane module removes the remaining moisture in the vapor from vapor form. So in this type of dryers, pre-cleaned compressed air is passed through the bundles of hollow fibers in the membrane module. The hollow fibers consist of a membrane layer specially designed to attract the water vapor inside. This water vapor diffuses through the very thin selective layer until it reaches the outside of the membrane due to the partial pressure difference between inside and the outside of the membrane. The permitted water vapor is then swept away by the small amount of dry air feedback along the length of the membrane fiber through the purging wall. Okay, So it is having some advantages, that is membrane dryers typically maintain a pressure dew point of 0 degrees Celsius, and membrane dryers are simple and compact in size. Okay, dryers run almost noiseless, so there is no need of refrigeration because regeneration, because the membranes never get saturated. They do not require electric supply and low operating cost. So this is what you studied. You've gone through the three different types of dryers. That is, first one is the refrigeration type dryers, chemical type dryers. Under the chemical type there are two types, that is absorption and adsorption, and third one is the membrane type dryers. And next is one more simple, very important topic is that FRL unit. In examination definitely they will ask 6 to 8 marks question on this, 100% question. That is, FRL unit means what? So this is a unit which is mainly used in the pneumatic system. So FRL means that is filter, regulator, lubricator unit. Okay, so this is used in every pneumatic system. Okay, this is a block diagram what it shows, because as you all you seen the air compressor, basically they can use it for some general application in commercial ways, but it is containing these three units. That is, first one is the filter. Okay, so before that air will get compressed, so you can filter that air. That air will get, atmospheric air will get passed through the filter, so means you have to remove the contaminants from the atmospheric air. So then after that it will go pass through the regulator. So okay, you can regulate the required pressure air. Okay, that's why you can pass that compressed air to the regulator, and last end component is a lubricator. Okay, so all these three units together you can call it as an FRL unit. So here it is showing the symbolic representation of this FRL unit. In examination, if they'll ask the symbolic representation of the FRL unit, definitely, okay, that is what symbolic representation. It is a representation of the filter. Okay, so regulator, and then this is a lubricator. Okay, and it is in a simplified way, complete FRL unit. If you want to represent in a single symbol means this is what. Okay, so this is a very important question they may ask in the examinations. That is, with a neat sketch explain or the symbolic representation of the FRL unit. Okay, so thank you.